Hey Ryan, so I was thinking, how could a manufacturer really annoy a couple thousand dealers as quickly as possible? And then I was thinking, well, what would be the opposite of that effect? How do you make a couple thousand dealers really happy that they're selling your brand and not having to deal with like daily headaches? And you probably already know where I'm going with this, but that is map pricing. So, minimum advertised pricing, pretty big deal in the shooting sports and outdoor space. But you're starting to see actually a lot more map pricing, even for just like general retail merchandise, as laundry detergent brands even are going like multi-platform, right? So, map pricing is a way to really protect retailers because, especially in the shooting sports space, like the retailers are the bread and butter, and they're required, facet to connect product, with the end consumer, really more so than any other industry. And so that map pricing can be a double-edged sword because if you get it wrong, right, you're going to have thousands of dealers that don't have the time to update hundreds of thousands of products. Um, what are your thoughts on map pricing from an industry standpoint? Right? Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Is it going to evolve? And should manufacturers that don't have map maybe look at a solution to add it?
Yeah, I think everybody should have map pricing. I think it's from a brand equity standpoint, it's really important to continue to uplift your brand from a reputational standpoint as far as pricing is concerned, right? Being able to go to any website and make sure that your price is symmetrical across all shopping networks, whether that's anywhere from Amazon to Academy to any of the shooting sports stores. But you kind of hit the nail on the head when you said thousands of retailers. And we all know the big guys, right? We all know about Academy and Shields and Bass Pro. And those are great stores, and you can go there and buy pretty much anything you want. But when you say thousands of retail stores, those are going to be the smaller stores. And the I guess the issue that we have in the industry when it comes to those smaller stores is me and my wife and my family didn't open a gun store to be e-commerce experts. We opened a gun store because we appreciate the industry and we want to get firearms into the hands of hunters and consumers as a whole. But from a technical standpoint, we might not be the most tech savvy folks in the world. And so not only is BFG bringing map pricing to those retail stores, but we're doing it in a way that is extremely simple and automated. And it's not just map pricing, Charles. Do you want to kind of dive into or elaborate on what map pricing means within BFG?
Yeah, so conventionally, a manufacturer is going to set a map price. For example, this item right here has a map price of $7.99. So that can't be sold or advertised rather online for other under $799. And that's great, but where is the dealer getting that map price so that they can correctly display it on their website? Well, it's a little bit of a telephone game currently because they might be connected to 20 distributors, and if one distributor gets the map price wrong on a Friday afternoon, well, now what's the correct source of truth, right? And so you might go like a whole weekend with having the wrong price that wasn't your fault as the dealer. And then you wake up Monday morning with about, 45 emails from a bot crawler telling you you're going to be cut off from the brand because you're violating the map price, right? So that's a really bad experience. It puts kind of a bitter taste in the mouth of the dealer when it wasn't even kind of their issue. And what we're able to do here with Buying Freedom Group is bypass that noise. Right, this is like actually the back end, a demo back end where you're able to set that map price, and that goes directly to those dealer e-commerce sites. So it's a direct relay, and it actually forbids those dealers from being able to advertise under this map price. And then in addition to that, you're able to actually manage the map rules, right? So you can say, hey, do you want to allow call for best price, or add to cart for best price, or send a carrier pigeon for best price? It's going to give you a lot of flexibility to manage the map pricing. But the other interesting thing is map promotions. And to your point about the big box retailers, right? They have whole teams dedicated to this, where it's like, oh, hey, pre Black Friday, a map holiday, no map pricing, or lower map pricing. They're going in and editing those prices on thousands of different products, but your everyday even mid-sized gun dealer does not have the time, because they're getting a product feed of hundreds of thousands of products, and then they get 50 different emails from like the top 50 manufacturers of like, hey, we're having a map holiday. And then they're going to have to go and like upload a bunch of Excel spreadsheets to their back end e-commerce sites for 50 different brands. So they just put up their hands, right? There's like, well, whatever. I guess the big box is going to take that business. With this, if you do a map promotion, a map holiday, or even a rebate, it automatically is going to update on those dealers' sites. So that alone is a huge benefit to your dealers, and then obviously a benefit to you as a manufacturer, because you're going to generate more sales from them.
So what I'm hearing from you right now, Charles, is like I own Ryan's Guns, right? I have a small gun shop in the corner of my town, and I'm basically on Friday afternoon. I'm getting ready to have my big weekend. I'm going through all my emails, and I'm seeing 50 different emails from 50 different manufacturers, and I have to make a choice of what to do with my time. I've got customers that are waiting out in the lobby. I've got people that are trying to buy guns. I've got people that don't know how to fill out 4473s that I've got to talk to and walk them through that. And then now I've got a bunch of emails on my screen about map holidays. I've got one from Glock and I've got one from Shadow Systems. And I have to make a decision of where I'm going to invest my time based on ROI. Glock is going to get their map policy updated in my e-commerce, but anybody else is kind of going to have to be put by the wayside because I simply don't have the time. And with Buying Freedom Group, now we're saving the ability to a manufacturer creates a policy and it basically pushes directly into the POS and the e-commerce stores versus that train you were talking about earlier where it's map policy is created by manufacturer, it's sent to the distributor then gets that information, it sits, and then it's sent to the retailers. The retailers then have to choose to open that email and then choose to dedicate time and resources at their physical locations to ensure that that is updated and updated appropriately within their ecosystem. So now it's simply wake up in the morning on Saturday and map pricing has been adjusted in my store. Am I accurate?
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. And especially again for those map holidays as we're heading into holiday season, I'm not even certain. I think typically the manufacturers don't update that at the distribution level. Don't quote me on that. Maybe some do, maybe some don't. But usually it's like, well, hey, here's our regular map, right? And then that's just locked in. But then they'll send directly to the dealers, hey, here's our map holiday pricing. Usually like in a spreadsheet, and then you as the dealer have to go and make all of those changes yourself. This completely automates that. So immediately, your mom and pop shop can now compete directly with the big box, which is especially great if you're also using the Buying Freedom Group in stock dealer locator, because right, if a consumer's hopping on to Ryan's custom 2011s.com and looking at your pistol on the manufacturer site, they can see who exactly has that in stock. And right when they click on the big box store, they'll see, oh, cool, map holiday price. And then they go over to a small local dealer that might be half a mile down the road. Now that price is going to match. Whereas before it wouldn't, right? And that would have deterred that sale, away from that more sort of community-based dealer that's actually probably going to create better buy-in for the brand, because it's a more cohesive purchasing process, generally speaking, when you're buying from a smaller dealer that's invested in that brand.
So, what I'm hearing from you is yet again, Buying Freedom Group is solving problems at the manufacturer level, the retailer level, and the consumer level. From a manufacturer standpoint, you know that you have equity across your map pricing across thousands of stores when you put your map pricing into BFG, because it's all automated. It's all instantly going where it needs to go. You're not being reliant on emails actually going through, distributors actually sending the information downstream, and then retailers finding the time to upload all that information from,
Yep.
which means you've got no violations. At the retailer level, we're automating the process so you don't have to worry about it anymore. You don't have to go look for those emails. You don't have to worry about any of that. You just know that your store is going to be updated. And then at the consumer level, you know that you don't have to go searching for the best price, because the exact price the manufacturer is willing to allow out into the market is the price you're seeing across thousands of stores. So yet again, BFG is solving across the whole equation of taking raw metal and putting it into the consumer's hands as a firearm.
Exactly. Yep. Yeah. And then from the manufacturer standpoint, in seconds, you can jump in and update your policy. You can, set what type of, alternative methods you want to allow. You can set up what kind of violation structure you want to track and manage. So, very intuitive and very quick. And then, of course, there's also the product data. As part of this, your images as a manufacturer are always going to be correct on those dealer websites, descriptions, video links. And to kind of make a quick little jump here, if you want to have the ability to really stand out as a manufacturer, it's cool to have like accurate map pricing. But now, if a dealer can view your product in 3D and augmented reality, that's just going to set you such a step ahead. This is so realistic. I actually like get nervous pointing it at myself like that. But yeah, so it's end to end, right? It all works together as a cohesive ecosystem, from connecting inventory to the dealer, ensuring correct map pricing, empowering your small dealers to have dynamic pricing, and having the best product data and imagery, across thousands of retailers.
Yeah, I think the point you make too about the content is important. Obviously, the technology exists where we're able to push map pricing downstream from a manufacturer to a retailer. But you think, well, if you can push a price downstream, why can't you push everything? And the simple answer is we can, and we do, and we will. And that means content, whether that be copy, so either your descriptions or your specifications, because you don't want some smaller gun shop to basically receive your firearm, go into make a description on their webpage, and it just says, 3.3-inch barrel gun. You want brand symmetry across. You've got people in your marketing department that have spent a tremendous amount of time and money making all the beautiful imagery that you have, the beautiful videos that you've created, the copy that you've created, and in-depth specific specifications. Say that 5 times fast. And it's an important piece of the puzzle when selling, right? We all understand, I think, especially in today's environment, how important marketing is. We're sitting here creating a webinar/podcast to be able to express to you what we make and what we do as a technology company. And we want to support making sure that you can take your marketing efforts and push them downstream in an automated way. So we've got everything from the content push to ensuring map pricing is capable, to being able to push and store and schedule map holidays. I think the sky is really the limit when it comes to the map component of the BFG ecosystem. And I think the best way to show it, obviously, we've done a pretty good job here today. Thanks, Charles. But click on the link, subscribe to the channel, do whatever it says to do on your screen right now, and make sure that you get a demo. We'd love to actually show you firsthand what all this looks like and answer any questions that you may have. So fire away.